in chapter 2, you will find Krishna is speaking all the preview of what he's going to speak about. And one of the main teachings of Gita is karma yoga leading to bhakti yoga. Because all of us are present in our responsibilities, and that is the forefront of our life, right? You cannot suddenly be able to apply the principles until you understand the very situation you are in and how to conduct yourself in that situation leading to perfection, right? You could be in any role. Arjuna's role was of that of a warrior. And what is the service of a warrior? To fight. But what happens when you fight? You kill people. He's killing so many people. That's his profession. Similarly, there are so many professions everybody is doing. So, it is not the position and the situation that is going to bring you victory, because everybody may have different positions, but within that position, how you apply these principles of karma yoga will bring you success, right? So today, in a little time, we will briefly talk about it, because each of the subject can be elaborated in great detail on a practical level of platform. The first thing that we need to know is uh, this whole world in which we are doing our duties is not happening on its own. It's not happening by its own. There is someone who is the owner, who is controlling the affairs of this place. And that is the Supreme Lord, Sri Krishna. And we are all present in this world, performing our duties under his leadership. Just like, for example, in your company, right? In your company, in your house, for some time, let's assume you are the proprietor and controller. Okay? So everybody who is working in your firm, about 40 people, 50 people, 100 people, are they independent or are they dependent? They are all dependent on you as a leader. But when they do their duties, they may not have anything involving with you. Like आपने किसी को कहा, do this particular work on the site, do this part of hiring, do this part of stitching, do this part of certain exchanges. So now they are busy doing their work and they may not have to come to you back and back again to talk to you. Maybe they need to get back to you after a whole month or sometimes even after a year. Isn't that so? Because you have already defined them work, and at different stages, what are they supposed to perform? It's only few people you may need to keep checking with, and others may be reporting to their immediate people. Isn't that so? So all the people who are working in the company are working under you, right? At a point of time, the individual employee may feel, oh, I am independent. I come in the morning at 9 o'clock and I go at 6 o'clock. And I do my work very, very diligently. So I get my paycheck at the end of the month. And the next month also, I come at 9 o'clock, work till 6 o'clock very diligently, and I get my paycheck. So the only important principle for me is to do my duty diligently. And then I will get my paycheck. And why should I bother about who is the owner? मुझे क्या पड़ी है कौन इसका मालिक है? I just need to perform my duty. Is that a complete understanding? Is that a complete understanding? That means the person who is working in your firm has nothing to do with you as a person. He only says, whatever job you have assigned to me, I will just do it. And at one point of time, he may tend to think, my work is only defining my result. I work very hard and I define result for myself. Make sense what I'm saying? To the extent a person can become thoughtful like that. But is that a complete or proper understanding? That's fine. But I'm just asking, would that be a proper positioning of a person? He just thinks I work hard so I get my pay, and how do I bother whoever is at the top? Yes, I know. I know. But is that a problem for the, or is it's okay? And if someone pays me more, Hare Krishna Prabhuji. If someone pays me more, maybe I will go and do duty at some other place. Right? So I'm committed to work, but I'm not committed to the person. I'm not committed to the company. I'm committed to my work. How do you like employees like that? No, I'm saying the person is committed to his work, and if some other owner is giving him a better pay of the same work, the person will immediately be ready to make a change. He says that company is more near my house and it pays me much more remuneration and more profits. So immediately I change my company because my work is the basis. So how do you like employees like that? You don't like employees, right? So is that a correct understanding of working? From the employee side also, it's not a complete picture. Obviously, that's what everybody seems to be doing. Are you able to understand what I'm telling? Or it's becoming very. I'm giving an example. No, that's okay. It is proper. So the point that I'm trying to say is just like our employees are working in our company, we are working in Krishna's company similarly. Make sense? We don't have anything to do with the owner of this place. You have given me this duty towards my work, my society, and my dependents. I am doing that diligently, and that's all about it. And I'm going to be paid back my punya and my remuneration. Right? And that's how I conduct myself. Isn't it? There is no botheration of who is actually behind, who is making this arrangement for us to function. There is no sense of gratitude and loyalty. So, if an employee has no gratitude for the person who has created that opportunity, and an employee does not have any loyalty, so will he get any royalty or support from the owner? There's one real time episode. There was one man who came from village, right? Gaon se tha, and he had no means of earning money, and he was having tattered clothes and hardly any means of livelihood. And one businessman took pity on him and said, "You're in such a bad situation. Maybe you become my office staff, and I will pay you something." So the person was very, very grateful. He was grateful to the businessman that in my time of need, where I had nothing to sustain on, he gave me support. So he felt very grateful to the person, and he felt very, very committed to serving that person. And because he had that principle of gratitude and so much loyalty, he served very, very diligently with feeling whatever work was assigned to him. And if somebody does something with great commitment, it comes into notice, right? So immediately after a few months, the boss or the owner took notice the commitment of this person and immediately promoted him. He said he's such a trustworthy person and such a hardworking person, doing with so much commitment. I should promote him. You always like to promote people who committed, right? Because you want them to set an example. So he was promoted, and like that, and wherever he was put, he was very, very sincere. Years passed, and immediately he was just getting onto the ladder above and above. And the aspiration of this person was not to climb the ladder. The aspiration of the person was to serve, because he felt at a time when there was nothing, I have been supported, so I should really work for the betterment of this enterprise. Whichever position, whether he became a team lead or a manager, to an extent, he almost became like one of the leading person of the company because of his sincere work. And he was really in the good books of the boss. And what happens if people do very good? What happens? All the people around become envious. Right? अगर कोई अच्छा करता है तो सब लोग जलने लगते हैं, right? ईर्ष्या से. So then everybody started feeling, he said, we should find some fault in this person so that we can pull him down. And what can we find? But they found he was so good at his work with principles. At one point of time, they realized there's one thing little fishy about him. And that is, he has something in his office behind which he has kept locked up, which every day he opens and sees the content, gets assured, and locks that place back. And they realized that he must be having all the wealth of the company nicely stored up, all the looting of the booty. So all the other guys got together and said, yes, now we will catch him red-handed and tell the boss, come at this time, and he will be caught red-handed and he will be no more. And everybody got together, told the boss against him, आपको पता है आपका ये जो आदमी है बिल्कुल गद्दार है. क्या ये गद्दार है? यस. और कल पेश आपके सामने ये पेश होगा. Come at this time and you will watch. And he came. And he came, and he had so much faith. And right at that time, the gentleman opened the lock of the door and went inside to do something. And right at that time, everybody got on and said, open the door, open the door, open the door. And he was like, who is this? And who was knocking? The owner. Open the door. And then he came out and said, what are you doing inside? What is the matter? He said, nothing, nothing. No matter, no matter. He says, tell me, what have you kept inside? I never thought you will do all this with me. I always trusted you. I gave you so much responsibility. He said, I'm not doing anything. I'm not doing anything. He said, show me what's there inside. And then the employee was caught, and all the managers, everyone behind, seeing what's the matter. And they went inside, and there was a trunk. Old-fashioned trunks. You have it something in your place? No. We have. And he opened, and he said, open the trunk. He said, no, it's personal. He said, what personal? Open it. And he opened the trunk. And what did he find? All this old clothes and, his footwear, which was completely torn, and his clothes, which was so shabby. They were all kept inside. I said, it doesn't seem to be the latest model. What is this? What are you doing with this? And then the person had to speak up. He said, sir, this is the clothes and the footwear that I came to the city with, where I was so helpless and no one really paid to my situation. But it was you who took pity on me and gave me an opportunity, though really you did not know me. So I always kept these clothes and the footwear with me because it always reminds me of who I was and what I have become and who is responsible for it. Right? मैं कौन था और आज मैं कौन हूँ, किसकी वजह से. And I always feel gratitude. And I become very inspired to do my dedicated service. Even though I may have had some difficulties in the work, I always remind myself and I get so enthused with our principles of gratitude to serve you with full sincerity and dedication. And all the managers thought we will catch him red-handed and he will be demoted. And they ended up creating so much more intense feelings of the boss towards that person. He said, now you are my next man. अब आप हमारे next आदमी हो. Right? I have full faith on you. Now you can also sign. Right? Sometimes trusted people can be even be partnered with because you know that there's so much sincere at their work, isn't it? So now this is another kind of employee who is not looking for an improvement in his paycheck and ready to hop place to place in where he has nothing to do with the master, nothing to do with the company. मेरा कर्म और मेरा paycheck. Right? But what is the situation of people like that? And what is the situation of the people like I gave you an example? Those who have a relationship of gratitude and service with the owner and with the boss. दोनों का ट्रैजेक्टरी एक है या अलग है? एक जमीन है तो एक आसमान है. Right? Isn't that so? Right? So which kind of employees you would like to hire? Which one? The first one? Or the second one? Second one. तो मैं से प्रभु जी मिलता नहीं. Difficult to find such committed people. And it is very interesting. Whatever are the principles you hold in your life, you will attract that kind of people. Whatever principles you hold in your life, you will attract people of that principle only. अगर आप कपटी हो तो आपके लोग भी आपसे तेज निकलेंगे. बोलेंगे बॉस हमारा ऐसा, तो हम तो उससे भी आगे. Very interesting, you know. A father, whatever he does, children will outdo him in whatever aspect, whether it is good or bad. Right? This is how followers work. Followers always follow. The followers see he has no follower, so I will not follow him. Very clear. ये किसी की सुनता नहीं, इसकी सुन के मुझे क्या मिले. People just unconsciously learn from our association. Isn't that so? It's very subtle learning. It's very subtle learning, but we speak a lot without speaking. We speak a lot without speaking, and they hear a lot without our speaking. They say, no, actions speak louder than your words, that I cannot hear you what you say. Actions speak louder than your word, that I cannot hear what you say. Right? So this is the first principle of Karma Yoga. The first principle of Karma Yoga is to understand who is the owner and the boss, and in whose company I am working. Yes, Mataji. They are also boss of their family. Everybody's boss. Yes. If somebody is no one's boss, he thinks I'm the boss of my body or my area. Even the dog thinks I'm a boss. He says, I urinate in 4 places and I define my domain and I'm the boss. Pow! क्या हो गया भाई? You stepped in my urinated area. Oh, sorry. Sorry. गलती हो गया, गलती हो. So who thinks I am Das? Everybody thinks I am boss. So if I give example of Das, no one will relate. If I give an example of boss, everyone feels home. So that is why example is always given what we can relate. So yeah, this is the first principle of Karma Yoga. All of us are working in Krishna's company. In the universal form, in the second canto of Bhagavatam or in the Gita, Vishwarup or the form of the Lord, the universal form is also the representation of the whole creation. So it is like the lower planets are like the feet, and the Brahma Loka is like the head of the universal Virat Roop, Virat Purush. One other aspect is the Brahmanas are like the head of the universal form. The Kshatriyas are like the Bahu, the arms. The Vaishyas are like the stomach. And the Shudras are like the feet. So which is more important? All are needed. Right? If you don't have feet, can you function? If you don't have stomach, any energy will be there. If you don't have arms, can you do anything? And if you don't have head, will anything happen? Prabhupada says, today we have a headless society. Why he says that? He says people have no direction of life. What they should do, why they should do, what is the goal of life? They have no direction. What is that direction? Whatever is the most popular idea right now. In the society, whatever is the most popular idea, we are with it. If they're selling land on the moon, we are also with it. Put our petition कि हमारा भी land खरीद ले. Whatever is the popular idea in the society, we are with it. So, and we don't have any intelligence to discern whether it is the right thing or not. Do people have intelligence? The only intelligence they have is offer chhoot na paye. I should not miss the opportunity. That is the intelligence. Let me do it, and things like that. So the point that I'm trying to say is in the Virat Roop, you see the Brahmanas have a position, the Kshatriyas have a position, the Vaishyas have a position, and the Shudras have a position. Everybody is very important. And everybody is doing his duty so that the whole system functions. Make sense? And then energy will come to everyone, or support will come to everyone. Isn't it? The stomach has to do its part, the arms have to do its part, and in that way the part serves the whole, and in that way everybody gets its best results. Make sense? So similarly, we also are performing some job profile. Like, businessman means you are the belly. The belly, the stomach. And what does the stomach do? Digestion, and creates energy for the whole body. So the Vaishyas create wealth, which kind of is like the fuel for the Brahmanas, Kshatriyas, and Vaishyas to function. And everybody has the, so that's what I say. When the Vaishyas have got the blessing that they can create wealth, they can create produce, right? Krishi Go Raksha Vanicham. So then they provide charity for the Brahmanas so that they can do all the religious duties, sacrifices, spread Krishna consciousness, and make everyone. The Kshatriyas, how do the Vaishyas connect with the Kshatriyas? So, how do Vaishyas provide for the Kshatriyas? By? How do you connect to the government? Taxes. So, you give taxes to the Kshatriyas because they're protecting you. Because if there's no protection, can you work? So, in that way, they're conducting. And with the Shudras, how do you connect? You give salaries. Right? In that way, you're connecting. Similarly, the arms, the Kshatriyas are for protection. They're protecting the Brahminical culture, the spiritual culture, the Dharma, by promoting opportunity for spiritual knowledge. That is how they are connecting with the Brahmanas. Then the Kshatriyas are connecting with the Vaishyas. How? By creating security for them to do their enterprising. Imagine there are people having different lands. They will always fight amongst each other, kaun sa mera hai, kaun sa tumhara hai. Sometimes in the family you fight, kaun sa mera hai. There is someone needed to discern कि भाई ये तेरा है, ये उसका है, उधर गया मैं तेरे को देख लूंगा. So everyone is created his discipline so that they can peacefully function in their area. Make sense? And the Kshatriyas protect the Shudras. How do they protect the Shudras? By helping them that the Vaishyas don't exploit them. They pay them duly. Right? Because the people who have money, they are always conscious. They're so much conscious of money that they're not conscious of the needs of people. So the Kshatriyas are there to protect. If anyone, that's why they have human rights, labor rights. So who is adjudicating? The king. Similarly, the Brahmanas, how are they connecting with the Kshatriyas? They give them direction. How they should rule and administrate it on behalf of Krishna. Similarly, the Brahmanas with the Vaishyas, how do they connect? How they should work within their situations in such a way that their activity should make them progressive and they should not perform adharma. Because adharma will lead to losing what they have also. The moment you abuse what you have, you lose what you have because it will be taken away. Just like you give a resource to one of your employee and he starts abusing that resource, what do? You give him one more resource. Take it away. Imagine you give him a car, and then he abuses the car. Instead of putting petrol in that, he put petrol in his bike. Or does all that kind of stuff. Or maybe do all his family purchase and family work with the car. So what do you do to him? He said, congratulations, I'm gifting you one more. He says, you rascal. I gave you something. And instead of using it for the company, you're using it for yourself. Give me back. Isn't it? So the Brahmana would give intelligence to the Shudras to be loyal, to be principled, to the Vaishyas to not exploit, and be within the principles of Dharma. Everybody needs direction. Everybody needs protection. And how do the Shudras connect with all of them? They support the functioning of all. Can the Vaishyas function without employees who are expert? How much business can you do and how much can you grow all over the world? You only have to be everywhere. Possible? if you don't have good assistants? No. So without assistants, Vaishyas are not going to function. Will the Kshatriyas function if they don't have archers and military phalanx? If they don't have a whole army, can they function? किसको डराएंगे? No. And even the Brahmanas, they want to do function of, spiritual education and management. You need someone to organize, someone to put the layout of the whole thing and everywhere, right? So you need people who are skilled. You understand what I'm trying to say? How we are interdependent and ultimately dependent. We are not independent in this world. So how should we be towards everyone? We should be respectful towards all the other classes. And we should know, to the extent we respect all of them, there will be a harmony. Isn't that so? If you misdeal with anyone, they will stop cooperating. Right? You only have responsibility when they don't do their responsibility. But if they're doing their responsibility, then you do not have any responsibility to get over them with any wrong principle. Right? Then no one likes to be around if they're not properly dealt. You cannot say, I'm paying you money, so I can do anything to you. He says, we're waiting till we get a better offer. Right? Nobody likes to be disrespected. Isn't it? And ultimately, we have to understand the head, the arms, the stomach, and the feet. Right? They are all functioning for the body. They are not independent. They will not get their strength until they work for the whole. If the hands don't work for the whole, will the energy come? If the feet are working disconnected, will the energy come? So everyone has to work for the satisfaction of the whole. And who is the whole? Krishna, the universal form. This is like an expansion or a manifestation ultimately, which means a Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya and Shudra needs to work for the pleasure. If they work for the pleasure of the whole body, they will be successful. If they work independently without respecting other counterparts, and neither do they work for the whole, they will be dysfunctional. Right? So this is the second principle of interdependence and dependence on the Supreme Lord. Make sense? Right? Then you will see there will be harmony of doing your prescribed duty. Karmanya vadhikaraste. Then this is going to be applied. Without understanding these principles, karmanya vadhikaraste, karma hi puja hai, will not work. You don't have good interdependence and you don't have dependence on the owner with gratitude and loyalty. Then you will not be able to function. And actually, when you have gratitude towards the owner and understanding of his position, then you will have respect for interdependence also. Right? Because you know, if I misdeal, he is watching. Right? If I don't do my things rightly, he is watching and he's taking account. Right? So then you become responsible. This is called karmanya vadhikaraste. Now, whoever you may be, like now you could be a Shudra, you could be a Vaishya, you could be a Brahmana, you could be a Kshatriya. But the principles are applicable to all. Because each is interrelating with everyone and each is a part of the whole. They're not independent. Right? So this principle we have to understand. That we are belonging to this whole creation where the Supreme Lord is the owner and controller. And I have my part to play on behalf of the Lord. Right? So I should work with gratitude. Thank you, my Lord, You've given me this opportunity. And then work loyally with gratitude. And the employee should work for the pleasure of the boss to bring profits to the company. Yes, the employee is only thinking how much profits I can make. Huh? Sometimes I have seen there are employees when they're working, they are busy making profits for themselves. You know, so many things are here. Maybe some I can take for my home also. So much subsidy is coming. Maybe some can go for my home. I will not have to pay the bills for that. So imagine the employees are thinking about their profit. They're not thinking the profit of the whole company. What will happen to the whole environment of the market or the company? Right? But today the world has become like that. They are not, people are not performing their prescribed duty diligently. And that is why they are not getting the warmth of the boss. Otherwise, if you do your prescribed duty, anytime you have a problem, you tell the owner, sir, tangi ho rahi hai. तो boss क्या करेगा? Help. Isn't it? If your employee has been very diligent and very sincere, he comes to you and says, my child's education is in trouble. Can you help? Will you not take responsibility for the whole education? Because you know he's doing his best. Right? And I don't want such a diligent person to lose him. And for the studies of this student child, I think I can sponsor. If this is the kind of person, then the glorious person, tomorrow he also may join my firm. Or even otherwise, I'm okay. Make sense what I'm saying? He may join me also. His son also, if he nicely is placed, tomorrow he can. And actually, you will see traditionally, the Shudras, you serve them so nicely that they will, their next people also join you actually. Because they have been so nicely treated and taken care. That is how you make empires. See, you cannot make empires without having trustworthy team. Can you? You could be a brilliant guy. See, money is going to inspire only to a certain level. Right? People have much more than that as a demand. Right? If you, many times talented people, if you don't value their talent, they don't stay with you. Right? बोले आप मेरी कदर नहीं है आपको. So they will leave. So you have to have that intelligence. So that's why they say the master has to treat his people like children. Praja is like children. How do you take care of children? Love, but how do you take care of them? You think what you think for the best trajectory of the child. You don't think about your self-interest, but you think about the best interest for the child. Yes or no? So you should take care of your dependents for the best trajectory they can have. And if they have the best trajectory, overall, we'll have the best. You understand? So that is the principle of doing your prescribed duty. We do it in harmony, and then, as I said, you work for the pleasure of the owner. Then the owner will immediately be in touch with you, and you will feel to be in touch with him. If you don't work with gratitude and loyalty towards your owner, will you have a heart to go to the owner and ask for help? You will feel, अरे I never did anything for him. अभी जाके पूछूंगा तो बोलेगा कौन आगे. But imagine you have sincerely done it, you feel certain shelter, and the person also looks forward to support you. So we don't feel to call Krishna because we don't bother about Krishna. But if you're conscious of Krishna and grateful to him, at all times you will feel it easy to connect to him and take his help. And do you think Krishna will help? You know, the boss and the owner is always concerned to make everybody more successful so that overall everyone will grow. If every team member of your grows, do you grow? That is growth. I grow, they don't grow. We will not grow. Right? Isn't it? So, this is the first and second principle of understanding the Supreme, the owner, and second, the interdependence with everyone. Nobody should feel that can independently deal. I'm actually dependent on so many. Practically. Right? Now you're sitting here. So you have people to help you out for all the resources. If they are not there, can you peacefully sit here? Then someone will have to miss and do the rest of the work. Right? So this is the first and second principle which elaborates karmanya evadi karaste. So you have a right to perform your duty well. And that is your responsibility. Right? This is where you need to put your hard endeavor. Then the second principle is ma phaleshu kadachana. So if you work diligently in interdependence and dependence in the Supreme, then the blessings will come from the top. The paycheck will come, right? All the interim results will come. So we have to know we get provided and supplied by the Supreme Lord for our diligent work. The principle of karma to wahi hai na. When you do proper result, you get punya, or you get higher results. Like some people are born very rich, and some people are born very poor. Why? Because who has pleased the Lord, so he gets more merits, and one who has acted displeasing the Lord gets less. Yes or no? Whom do you give a bonus? Someone who didn't work, or someone who worked? Similarly. So usually, who are the people who lose and are born poor? Poor people are rich people who have abused their position. Usually. And who are rich people? They are poor people who have valued their position and diligently served. That's why you will see people who are rich are also very religious. They have come from sincere hard work. They come from sincere hard work. They know अपने से नहीं होता सर. बहुत लोगों का आशीर्वाद भी चाहिए, बहुत लोगों के साथ सपोर्ट भी चाहिए. So you will see people who have worked hard will always be respectful to everyone. People who have worked hard will always feel dependence because they know life as a trajectory to bring success is just not me in the equation. There are a lot of plus to bring you to the position I am in. Right? But sometimes when people have wealth, and if they are intoxicated their wealth, then they misdeal with all the interdependence and they misdeal the very person for whom they are working. So what happens? The result of that, the deal only becomes missed. And instead of having that position they abuse, they get demoted. So the third principle of karma yoga is depending on the quality of your work, you get your fruits from the Supreme Lord. Right? Karma karne se nahi, the quality of your work, the quality of how you have done your adhikar, phaleshu will come. Just like I said, if you are respectful, if you are sensitive, then you get support of everyone, of your interdependence. If you abuse them, intoxicatedly, you misdeal with them, then will they support you? And you lose. I'm saying how a rich man abuses his position and becomes a poor man. Yes or no? That's how it works. And a down to earth person with sincere principles grows in course of time. So, ma phaleshu kadachana, based on your quality of work, you attract the mercy of the Lord. Right? You attract the mercy of Lord by the quality of your interactions. When the quality of your interactions are selfish, you don't attract so much. The quality of interactions are filled with gratitude, service, then you attract attention. Right? Like you would for people who serve you. Ma phaleshu kadachana. So you be concerned with doing your work diligently and with quality. The Lord will reciprocate with you diligently. And there is no unfairness in reciprocation. You will duly get your position depending on your quality of work. There is no unfairness in this world. Right? Everybody is fairly dealt. Right? That is the third principle. The fourth principle is ma karma phala hetur bho. Do not be egoistic. Work hard, good quality of work, blessed by the Lord, but don't be egoistic. Don't be proud. Pride is the key to failure. He says, how to fail in this world? Be proud. They say pride comes before a fall. Isn't it? Imagine there's a diligent person at your work, good quality of everything, and then he becomes very arrogant and very egoistic. You are telling him, अरे इसको कर, सर मैं जानता हूँ ना, क्यों टोक रहे हो? हाँ? आपसे ज़्यादा मैं काम किया ना इस फील्ड में, पता है ना आपको? Says, who is this gentleman here? So he says, nobody likes to be with a egoistic person. Right? You immediately annoy people the moment you are egotistic. He says, मा कर्म फल हेतु. कभी भी अहंकार नहीं होना चाहिए कि मैं ये हूं, मैं वो हूं, मेरे कारण तो तुम वो हो जो मैं हूं. सॉरी, मेरे कारण तो तुम वो हो जो आप हो. Right? No one likes to be arrogantly dealt. Right? We like to deal with people. Actually, people become pleasurable when they're humble. जो लोग नम्र होते हैं उनसे व्यवहार करने में बहुत रस आता है, और जो घमंडी लोग होते हैं उनसे समय बिताने में नरक लगता है. लगता है कब मैं इसका पाला मेरा छूटे, या मैं इसके साथ कुछ करूं ही नहीं तो वो बेहतर है. So nobody likes the company of egotistic people. So after you diligently work and you get blessings of the Lord, the next blessing of the Lord is humility. If you have really sincerely worked, after success, you will be humble. But after success, if you have become proud, that means you have not done कर्मण्य एवाधिकारस्ते. आपने कर्म को पूजा की तरह नहीं किया है अगर आप घमंडी बन गए हो. Right? Why? Because now that's going to trigger your failure. घमंड से व्यक्ति पूरी तरह चूर चूर होके खत्म हो जाता है, और आप देखेंगे अपने आंखों के सामने ये होते हुए. हो सकता है 5-10 साल लग जाए या एक 20-25 साल लग जाए, पर जिसकी फाउंडेशन इतनी कांच की तरह बनी है वो तो आराम से टूटेगा, राइट। तो ये फोर्थ प्रिंसिपल है कर्म योग का, कि डिलीजेंटली आपने रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी की, भगवान की कृपा को प्राप्त की, पर आप गर्वित नहीं हुए।